Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Aimee Catalano, who is the Global Partner Marketing Executive at Google Cloud. Aimee, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm excited to hear about the innovation that's coming out of Google Cloud. What's happening?
Things are pretty exciting over at Google Cloud. From an innovation standpoint, I'm sure you can imagine, we're seeing exponential growth in the public cloud space continue until through 2022. And so when we think about what's happening here, Google's really known for its analytics and AI products, and it's just fascinating to see not only just the amount of customer adoption and traction, but you read about these stories and they're just such unique uses that are really having like human impact and changing the world in so many interesting ways. That part has been phenomenal to see. Another thing that's just been really awesome. So this year, Google Cloud made a big announcement in the solution for hybrid and multi-cloud. There's a product called Anthos. Leading partner marketing, it was exciting because it was such a broad ecosystem of partners that are rallying behind this. But it's really a way for businesses to go manage their modern hybrid applications, whether it's on your existing on-premises investments or in the public cloud. And it's going to be a game changer. So just seeing that start to come to market in a big way, very exciting.
I know that most companies want to have multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, right? That's like the trend. And go to market for most companies, tech companies, relying on the partner is a significant part of the revenue stream. In your role as the global partner marketing executive, how many partners are you trying to enable and try to help to be successful?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So I think it's important to know there are all different types of partners. So like Anthos, for example, when you look at the kind of ecosystem around those, there are partners that we work with on the technology partner side. So think of the servers that we would sit in existing on-premises environments. Cisco, Dell, HPE, Lenovo, those types of companies. Yep. And then we also have a lot of the different software platforms that are built on top of Anthos. And then we think about how are we providing services and taking those out. And so, we have a massive ecosystem of these regional system integrators and the traditional VARs. We have the big global system integrators that are also taking an active interest in what Anthos could do for their customers. So there's a whole mix of different types of partners. And so my team leads all of the joint partner marketing with those types of companies.
Okay, so let's hear about some of those exciting partner marketing initiatives and maybe some of the challenges and the best practices that you would like to share.
Sure. So it's interesting. So I joined Google Cloud about 4 days before their big user conference in 2019. Or I'm sorry, 2018. And so you can imagine, I walk in, I'm here 4 days, and I meet all of these different partners at once. We have over 25,000 people that came to last year's conference. And so I think one of the challenges that I was starting to feel, it was the momentum was amazing, but everyone was just, oh, this is a great beginning of a partnership. We want to go big. And so I heard that word go big so many times that it's this is awesome, but oh my gosh, how are we going to do this with so much interest and demand? So being in partner marketing for decades, this was a unique experience, but one that was really fun and I thought would be an interesting challenge to overcome. So it really comes down to how are we aligning our goals with our partners' goals and how are we prioritizing in the right places? And so there's a big mix of that to be successful. And then also from a programmatic side, we've been growing at such a fast pace, we really needed to mature things like our program. So for example, this past year, we just announced our new Partner Advantage program. And so we literally had 16 different flavors of programs and initiatives that were for partners. So now we teamed really closely with our partner community. Actually, they helped us design our new program. And so we launched our new Partner Advantage program this year. And that's just what helps us scale to thousands of partners so that they can all have a meaningful relationship with us, invest in us, and that's already taking off in a really great way.
What's been really most effective in the investment you've done and try to pull different levers,
So there's a lot that has been effective. I think each strategy is a little bit different. So with certain partner types, it might be about, okay, let's go get these intimate roundtable dinners together. So one of the things that have been really successful is let's go get our CEO and one of our top partners CEO and have a roundtable with a bunch of like CIOs or any like a CXO type of an engagement. That has shown to be extremely positive. I think getting a mixture of current customers and prospective customers at that table is a key to the success, and making sure the sales teams are fully supportive of getting the right people there.
Right.
So that's been an example. And of course, like all of our campaigns and programs, there's a variety of different audiences. And so then when you, to the extreme opposite end of CXO, you're thinking about how are you going engaging at the technical level and the developer level and what kind of challenges can you do. That's where, we would work with like the DevRel group within another company and like partner with our team and like what can we do that could be really cool and innovative there.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think digital marketing, of course, there's so many more tools now to do digital marketing, and we all do so much content digital marketing, but face-to-face, intimate setting is still such an important aspect of that, bringing down the conversion to actually becoming customer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so let's turn to the topic of career, because I think you've been very active in career advancement for women, women in tech, diversity and inclusion, and there's some really great programs at Google that I would love for you to share.
Sure. So career advancement overall, again, I think for me personally, there's I've seen a lot of different opportunities where like people have come and said, oh, can you be my mentor? They expect something really formal. I strongly believe in the whole sponsorship versus mentorship philosophy, which is more about less of some formal mentor, but more about like what are people saying about you when you're not in the room, right? And what's also really important about career advancement is knowing that today people do so much on back channel references, not just the references you give them when you're looking for a new role. And so the ability to have somebody say very high remarks about you, regardless of who that is, knowing you have no control over that is key. So one of the first things that I always coach people on is like every single relationship and every interaction matters. This is a really small industry in high tech. Like you just never know who's going to be calling whom to ask like, how is this person in their job? Are they a successful leader? So that part to me is really key. I think on the individual side and the sponsorship side, I would say don't underestimate the investment in your networks and in relationships. So short story, I was considering joining a women's executive networking group many years ago, like 8-9 years ago. I had 2 young children at the time, like, do I have time for this? And I was on the phone with the founder, and she basically said, because I was saying, I don't know if I have time for this extracurricular. She's like, well, first of all, I want you to know this is why we have this women's executive thing. Because for one, like a lot of men just feel like that's a part of their day job and they just go and make it happen. And a lot of times it's women who consider it extracurricular, but you need to know this is not extracurricular. Like this is a part of your overall career growth and what you can even do for your own company. And so that really opened my eyes and realized like you're right. And I joined that group and I met so many amazing senior women and other even non-women leaders. And so it helps to grow the network. And then when you go to like either find high talent for your team or you're interested in joining another company and you've met somebody there, hey, give me the inside scoop. What is it like to work there? So there's so many reasons why that network is so important. So I highly recommend that people take the time, and everyone is so busy, but it's just so worth it to invest in that personal network. And then I do have a little advice for more early in career type of professionals. So kind of regardless of where you sit, I think one of the things that worked for me was just being a little bit bold in the sense of like seeing an opportunity or seeing a gap and like, how do I fill this gap, right? And so if you see something like, oh, wow, like I think I could actually do something different, like I don't really like the way this is working, ask a VP, ask somebody like, hey, can I go have this 20% project and try to go make this work? Those types of things stand out. And actually, I would say when I was at IBM a long time ago, I think that is what got me on the path where they put me into the special, like, kind of executive track program, because I realized there was a need, and I asked to just randomly, can I go create this new group? And so for earlier in career people, I would say that's something to really find a way to stand out.
Look for the gaps.
Look for the gaps.
And then take the initiative to propose a program or some kind of change to make a difference.
Like, be super proactive and offer ideas, suggestions, and even the ability to go pull it off yourself to go make it happen. And then I would say the other thing that's just so important, and especially I see this a little bit different between men and women of the many who worked for me directly, which is, like, never underestimate the importance of owning your own career and the importance of making sure that your manager constantly knows, like, this is where you want to be in 2 years, 5 years. And if they don't initiate that conversation, it's kind of up to you to own it and make sure the conversation happens.
I see.
So I just think it's so important that people feel their own ownership of their career and that they, at any moment in time, feel confident that their manager knows this.
Okay. And what is the Google program that you mentioned about this executive 1 year training or something?
Yeah. So I've been really passionate about kind of inclusion and diversity for a while, especially for me earlier in my career. I was on the receiving end of kind of more of the negative unconscious bias, which I plowed through, but it definitely inspired me to take a more proactive place in terms of, like, how do we pave the path to others so maybe it's not so difficult for them. So I've just always been really passionate about it. And so depending on, like, which organization I've come to, sometimes it's like, oh, well, maybe they need somebody to lead the women's group, or my last company, there was no inclusion and diversity group yet at all. So, like, how do I be a part of establishing one in the first place? And then at Google, it's just such a part of the DNA within Google. We actually call it DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And there were so many things already established. It's like, great, like, I don't really need to go contribute on building something from the ground up. So it was just a matter of finding my own place. And so we have a women's leadership program, and basically it's a cohort of women every year that are just about kind of on the cusp of becoming executives. And it's a year-long program. You do one-on-ones on, like, coaching, and then they have 2 in-person summits globally. So these are women globally across the world. They come in twice a year, and I just spent a couple days last month with them, which was phenomenal. And so, you know, it's just about career management, personal engagement. You just have the conversations to get them prepared to take the next level. So Google, like, again, I feel like they do such a great job of finding the right benefit or program for whomever is looking to be included. And so I thought that was great. And then just the other thing Google does, and I just recommend every organization do this, just like a mandatory inclusion and diversity training. So all managers must take it. And I've personally seen the difference when you have diverse teams versus just all very single-minded teams that are all kind of very similar. And so we all, as individuals, especially managers, but everyone, have a role to play in the inclusion. Like, how do we make sure that individuals feel like they are a welcome part of the team, that their ideas are welcome, that we're constantly asking and listening. And so that part is key. And then just having, especially managers, like, understand, like, what does it, how do you put that into practice? What are the tips and tricks? And so when companies like Google, and I encourage everybody, like, you have a lot of times it's just optional, but to make it at least mandatory for managers to do these, even if it's like a 30-minute web-based training, it goes a long way.
Excellent. Okay, how about one more tip or advice on partner marketing, given the dynamic environment we're in?
Absolutely. So yeah, I think partner marketing is a science, right? For one of the things that I've always loved about it is it gets to be a really broad scope of role. You kind of like the CMO of a joint solution with another partner.
Yes.
That also comes with a lot more challenges and complexities, right? And so I think what's really important is that both companies come together up front and just completely agree and align on, like, these are the goals for the partnership, and therefore, like, this is the marketing plan, and these are the kind of key results and objectives that we're aiming for. and make sure that both sides are completely aligned. That part could not be more important. And even internally, like making sure that that partner marketing plan is supporting the overall plans within each organization, right? Because then you'll get the support of your leadership team, they'll get the support of their leadership team. So that kind of laddered support on goals is key. I think the second thing about partner marketing is just never to underestimate the relationship building side. So we constantly get thrown curveballs in partner marketing. Things always pop up. So the ability to pick up the phone and have a conversation with somebody you've had dinner with or had an experience with, like those relationships are key. And I say the third thing is like the biggest tip is just be resilient and be agile. So you know, there is never a dull moment in this market that we live in. So you never know if one day this partner that you've been spending the last 6 months building this robust marketing plan with gets acquired by your biggest competitor.
Oh, no.
Like, then what happens?
Yeah, what do
right?
you do?
So I think that what I've learned over the years is you just need a plan for the fact that change is constant.
Yeah.
And be resilient, right? There are certain things you could never predict.
Right.
And so I think if you look at, like for me, even now, like you look at your marketing plan for the year, and you think you have it down, just know you have it like 80% down.
Right.
There's going to be the 20% of last minute curveballs or changes in the market or shifts that reprioritize not only your goals, but your people and your budget. And so there's just a little bit of a mindset tip that I would give people that it's just a part of the game.
Right, be prepared.
Be prepared. You're never going to be able to predict everything, but that's also what makes it so fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all this advice. So I appreciate you being on the show, Aimee, and talking about innovation at Google Cloud, talking about the career advancement tips that you have. And it's been wonderful to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There you have it, folks. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Aimee Catalano from Google Cloud.